Okay, see, I'm over here on a table out in my backyard. See, there's a table, and I've had a towel out here, and I've just set them out here and left them in the sun, and not the sun, it's under a sheltered awning, but in the rain and the wind and everything. And while I'm here, I'll show you a few unusual things here, okay? Now, this here, I'm hoping you can see this because I'm in shade now, but anyway. This here is called a dragon, a pig dragon for some reason, and I don't know, somehow or another, you know, dragons were like their creator myth animal. You know, it's like a dragon was the first thing that started, and a dragon and a turtle. So I got tons of kinds of dragons and turtles. But now this here, as you can see there's a hole in this circle. So there's about 10 things going on here. There's a circle, there's a hole in it, and what that hole means is the people who wore stuff like this, or the significance of it is like a human that wore it is like a person who is like making a confession. They're like saying, I have failed. I have not done the best that I can do, but I am committed to doing better for the rest of my life. And that's what this means. It's like a person who is committed to and swears that if you forgive them, they'll get it better. And I'm almost sure that the ones like this that are like only partial circles mean that, hey, you know, I've been good for a long time, kind of a deal. I'm almost back to being a whole circle person again. But I've got all kinds of crazy stuff here. Like, look at this thing. You tell me that's not an alien? I mean, how trippy are these? I just love them. I've been, you know, when I first got them, I kind of went, you know, I'm sure they're worth a lot of money, but I can't charge a lot of money to my friends because I can't prove they're worth a lot. And I don't want somebody coming back and saying the bezel man screwed me, you know. So I've basically been selling them for the value of what they would be as reproductions. Look at this. Now, if that isn't an alien head, I have never seen one. You know, it looks like a little gray, a little, you know, an effigy like of a gray alien to me, or like almost a guy like wearing a little space helmet or something. But when I first got these, you know, needless to say, I was pretty poor. I'm always pretty poor, and I had kind of robbed Peter to pay Paul to come up with the money to get them. So in my Facebook groups, you know, I got a couple sales groups, and I went ahead and sold enough of them to basically get the lion's share of my money back that was kind of hurting me. But there's just all kinds of wild stuff. Look at this, you know, some kind of bug, you know, I don't know what you would call that bug. But, I mean, does not that look like, oh, you know, what has happened is when I got, you know, when we opened it up, there were about 6 phases of this stuff, levels of it being cleaned. Now, a lot of them have this white stuff on them, which is basically jade rust. Jade, when it rusts, you have like this white mineralization that actually is not forming on there like rust, or not eating it like rust eats metal, but it kind of the minerals come out of the jade somehow and leave this white crusty look on them. Now this thing obviously hangs up and down, and I don't know what it is. Is that an alien? Is that a anthropomorphized bat? Dude, I don't know. Now, here... No, I'm not going to show that one. I'm sorry, but here's the deal, okay? I'm not going to show my very favorite pieces because somebody always wants to buy them. And I don't like being a jerk and saying no, and then they keep offering more and more money, and I get really, really tempted, and I didn't want to sell it. So it's real simple. When I got a cool one, I'm sorry, you're not going to see it. Unless it's at some point when I say, this whole video is just cool stuff that is not for sale, never going to be for sale, don't ask me. I don't know what this is. Some kind of effigy. I'm not exactly sure what you do with something like this, but there were about 20 of them in that trunk. But, you know, I got all kinds of things like hanging down. You know, this is that cicada again. And now cicadas, to them, you know, there's something about the cycle of the cicada, and somehow or another the cicadas, the way they look, they have tied them up mythologically to baby dragons, or like the children of dragons. And so they make just a ton of cicadas. Man, I got every type of cicada. Some of them are just almost basic plugs with, you know, just a little bit of a cicada head on them. And then others, I don't see one handy here, are just really elaborate copies of, you know, elaborately made things that have, you know, like even an image of a man on the backside. So I have a feeling that maybe it's like a carved, now this one here, for instance, some of these I do not believe are old. But I think the guy was just like a jade collector. And so some of his things were old and some of them weren't. You know, some of them were like this, just really nice quality jade. And, you know, just a real cool thing made out of it. You know, and this is just like some kind of little knife pendant. You know, maybe, you know, this was back in the days when they, you know, weren't even maybe making a lot of metal. Because, you know, they were using jade knives and jade axes during this time. I've got those too. And now something else about these things here. I have, you know, I've had machinists look at them. I've had all kinds of really smart guys look at them. And here, I'm going to go on over and finish this story. So, at one point in time, I know, because I was raised in the San Francisco Bay Area, and for trips at school, we always used to go to the museums up in San Francisco where there's a giant Chinatown part of town. And so in the museums in Chinatown, there was always jade, and so they'd explain to us about jade, and they would actually show, you know, a little demonstration of how jade was worked. I mean, huge jade statues that were completely done by nothing but human fingertips with a little bit of sand or dust or talcum powder kind of stuff on them. Typically, they said it would typically take just for a small, they showed us a small figurine about 5 or 6 inches high, and they said 3 generations of father, son, grandfather, father, and son it would take to just to complete a small statue like that. So, and there's no metal marks on these things here. These are, at least the vast majority of them, there's not. I might could see some on a few of them. And a few of them, you know, just look so shiny and stuff. They're modern. But basically, they have been... Okay, here's a little bracelet thing anyway. Now, here's something interesting about this bracelet. Like I say, when I got them, they were in various stages of having been cleaned. Some of them looked like they were straight out of the ground, filthy, dirty. Every hole in them was packed with dirt. Others of them are, you know, like these here have been been cleaned to the point to where they're, you know, shining, spotless. And then, you know, now on here, there's an example. See, this one here has been cleaned in stages, and they stopped. You know, they'd just been cleaning around here and didn't get to that part over there. Or for some other reason, maybe if it was in the ground or something, you know, because there's been a market for these for hundreds and hundreds of years. The British, other European people have been collecting jade for a very long time. Likewise, people have been making jade replicas for a very long time, hundreds of years, which just is, you know, is the point to where, you know, maybe somebody in China knows, or maybe somebody up in Chinatown knows, but I can't find anybody in my networks or where I can get to easily enough. I'm handicapped. I don't get out a lot anymore. And in my networks that can give me an sophistication on any of this stuff. But that's the story. See the totally difference in the one part of that has been really, you know, basically it's kind of, I don't know, is that a bug? You know, I don't know. It's they're so many of their things become so stylized that I can't really tell what they are anymore. Anyway, I'll show you some other stuff. You're probably getting bored as hell listening to me and seeing it.